Hey everyone, today we are going to learn one of the most fundamental concepts in robotics, the 2D occupancy grid map. This is how robots represent their environment to know where they can move safely. In an occupancy grid map, first we will divide our environment into small squares called grid, and then we will fill up those cells with the value either 0 or 1 with the help of the vision sensors that are mounted on the robot. So 0 means that this cell is free, so the robot can move freely here, and 1 means that cell is occupied. It means that we have some kind of obstacle in our path. Actually, robot uses this kind of grid map to plan the safest and the shortest path by avoiding the collisions. Now let's build our own 2D occupancy grid map in Python. We will first create a grid, then we will add some obstacles, and in the end we will visualize it. To create a grid map, first thing we have to load the important libraries. So the first library we need to import is the NumPy library as NP, which helps us to create our grid map. And the second library we need to import is the Matplotlib library .pyplot as plt, which helps us to visualize our occupancy grid map. First we have to define the size of our grid. For this you have to create a variable with the name of grid size is equal to, create a set of small brackets. Now you have to pass the number of rows and columns for your grid. I need 20 rows and 20 columns for my grid. Next I am going to create and initialize our grid. So to create a grid you have to create a variable with the name of grid space equal to. Now we are going to fill up our grid initially with the value of zeros. It means in the start we are going to create a grid where each cell is free. It means we have no obstacles in the start in our grid. Later we will fill some of the cells with the obstacles. So to create a free grid you have to type here np.zeros. It means all the values are initialized with the zeros. Now we have to pass our grid size here in order to create a grid of 20 cross 20. Next I'm going to visualize our empty grid by using this Matplotlib library. First we have to create a figure, so type here plt.figure. Now we have to define our figure size. I'm going to create a figure size 6 cross 6, so put 6,6 here. Next I'm going to draw our grid inside this figure. For this you have to use the function IAmShow, and inside this function you have to pass your grid variable here. And next I'm going to transpose our grid. For this you have to put here dot capital T, so it will transpose our grid and it will align it intuitively with the Cartesian coordinates. Now inside this grid our columns representing the x-axis and our rows representing the y-axis. And the next thing we have to define the origin. So type here origin, and we want to put our origin in the lower left corner. For this you have to type here lower. And next we have to define the color map for our figure. For this you have to type here cmap. I want to use the grayscale. For this you have to type here gray-r and enclose it inside a commas. Now to show this figure you have to type here plt.show, create a set of small brackets. Now save your program, go into your terminal, and to run the file you have to type here python and the name for your file and press enter. Now here you can see the empty white figure and its origin is at the lower left bottom 0 0, and it is going till 20 here, and similarly here in the y-axis it is going till 20. Next, to write the title for your figure you have to type here plt.title, and now you have to create a set of small brackets, create a set of commas. Now you can choose the title for your figure. I'm going to write the name for my figure is 2D occupancy grid map, and the next thing I'm going to create the label on the x and the y-axis. For this you have to type here plt.x label. So on our x-axis the label should be simply x, and in our y-axis the y label should be simply y. Now if I will save my file again, go back into the terminal and run our file. So here you can see that it will create the title for our figure here, and now it is creating the label for the x-axis here x, and for the y-axis here is y. And till now you are not seeing the grid lines. Next we are going to draw the grid lines. To show the grid lines you have to use the function grid and you have to make it true. Next we want to show all of our grid lines from 0 to 20 on our x-axis and also on our y-axis. For this you have to call the function xticks, and we want to show our grid lines from 0 to 20. For this you have to use the range function, and you have to create a range from 0 till 20. You can either pass 20 or you can pass your grid size, and we are going to pass our x-axis here. So next we have to add +1. Now it will run it from 0 till 19, and next we have to define the number of steps to reach from 0 till 19. So we want every step, so pass 1 here. You have to do similar for the y-axis, so copy it from here, go into the next line, just replace x here with the y and here 0 with the 1. Now save your file, go back into your terminal, now run your file again. Now here you can see the 20x20 2D occupancy grid map. Next we are going to fill some of our cells with the obstacles. It means we have to fill our cells with the value of 1. To create obstacles in our grid map, we have to use our grid variable. Next we have to pick some of the cells from our grid on the x and the y axis. So from the x axis I'm going to choose the cells from 5 till 7, and on the y axis I'm going to choose the cells from 5 till 10, and we are going to replace its value from 0 to 1 because in the start we have initialized our grid with the zeros. Now I am replacing some of the cells with the value of 1. Now save your file, go into your terminal and run your program, and here you can see that an obstacle is created on the x and the y axis, and on the x axis it is going from 5 till 7 and on the y axis from 5 till 10. And if you want to create more obstacles, you can choose more cells and you have to replace its value from 0 to 1. Now copy it from here. To create another obstacle, you have to just replace the values here. Now I want the obstacle from 12 to 17 and here from 10 to 12. Now save your file, go back into your terminal and run your program again. Now here you can see that we have created 2 obstacles in our grid map. This is it for today. Next we will see how we can make the robot to move from the start point to the goal point through the shortest path by avoiding the obstacles. So see you next time. Bye bye.